Most children grow up knowing their father as the most important person in their small world. Ronaldo's children grow up knowing their father as the most important person in everyone's world, and somehow, impossibly, still managing to treat him like just their dad. They have grown up in mansions across 3 continents, flown on private jets before they were old enough to understand what a boarding pass was, and had their birthday parties attended by people whose names appear in sports history books. And yet the footage, the glimpses and the stories that filter out of that household consistently suggest children who are warm, grounded, funny, and entirely unbothered by the scale of the life they were born into. The credit for that groundedness belongs almost entirely to Georgina, who has made it her quiet but absolute mission to ensure that the extraordinary circumstances of their lives never become a substitute for the ordinary, essential experiences of childhood. These kids know what it feels like to lose a board game, get told no, do their own homework, and sit through a dinner they did not choose. That is not an accident. That is intentional parenting at its very best. There is a version of Cristiano Ronaldo that his coaches have never seen, that his teammates only glimpse occasionally, and that the global media has never quite managed to capture despite decades of trying, the version that comes out exclusively in the presence of his children. It is looser, louder, and significantly less dignified than the public-facing CR7, and it is, without question, the most entertaining version of him that exists anywhere. The children do not unlock it deliberately, they unlock it simply by being children, by being unpredictable, by being honest, by being completely indifferent to the legend in the room and entirely focused on the dad in the kitchen. The result is a man who has been caught making sound effects during pretend play, losing arguments to a 6-year-old with genuine bewilderment, performing dramatic reenactments of cartoon scenes at the request of children who will not accept a half-hearted performance, and laughing, really laughing, the kind that bends you in half, at things that are only funny if you are 5 years old, or if you love someone who is. His kids exposed him, and the world is deeply grateful. Despite the private jets and the mansion and the fact that their father is recognized on every continent on Earth, the daily texture of the Ronaldo children's lives is, by deliberate design, surprisingly close to normal. They go to school, they do homework that they do not want to do, they have friends who come over, arguments about whose turn it is, and Saturday mornings that start too early and end with everyone tired and slightly grumpy in exactly the way Saturday mornings are supposed to. Georgina orchestrates all of this with the organizational precision of someone who understands that routine is not the enemy of a rich life. It is the foundation that makes a rich life possible. The children eat together, play together, and spend their evenings in the shared spaces of a home that, for all its size and luxury, functions like a home, with noise and mess and laughter and the occasional tears that remind everyone that feelings are real, and that being part of a family means being seen in your least composed moments as much as your best ones. That is the life. That is the real one. And it is far more interesting than anything a press release could describe. If you want to understand the dynamics of the Ronaldo household at play, start with Georgina, because the children have long since identified her as the most willing, the most creative, and the most genuinely fun adult in the building when it comes to games, activities, and the kind of sustained imaginative play that children need and that most adults quietly dread. She gets on the floor. She plays the villain when the story requires a villain. She loses at games without making it feel like she is losing on purpose, which is a specific skill that very few adults have ever mastered. And she brings an energy to playtime that is not the performative enthusiasm of an adult tolerating a child's interest. It is real engagement, real presence, and real delight in the game itself. The children know the difference. Children always know the difference. And the fact that they seek Georgina out specifically for play, that they bring their games and their ideas and their imaginary worlds to her first, is the most honest possible testament to the quality of attention she gives them when they do. She is not playing with them out of obligation. There is a specific and well-documented phenomenon that occurs in households with twins, which is that two children of identical age, raised in identical circumstances, will somehow develop into the most entertainingly opposite personalities imaginable, as though the universe decided that having one of each extreme was more interesting than having two of anything reasonable. In the Ronaldo household, this phenomenon manifests as Matteo and Eva, who together constitute a force of nature that no parenting strategy has ever fully contained, and that Georgina navigates with a mixture of genuine affection, deep patience, and the resigned acceptance of someone who has long since stopped trying to predict what happens next. Matteo brings physical energy, competitive instinct, and a commitment to testing every boundary that is placed in front of him with the thoroughness of a scientist checking their results. Eva brings sharp observation, expressive personality, and the specific social intelligence of a girl who understands very well how the room works and adjusts her behavior accordingly. Together they are chaos. Separately, they are merely a lot. If Matteo and Eva represent the high-energy, high-volume end of the Ronaldo family spectrum, then Alana Martina and little Bella Esmeralda represent something altogether softer, sweeter, and in some ways even more compelling to watch. Alana, at an age where she is beginning to develop her own strong sense of self, has inherited Georgina's expressiveness and her father's determination in a combination that is already producing a personality of considerable force and considerable charm. She dances. She observes. She has opinions about things that nobody asked her opinion about, and she delivers those opinions with a confidence that suggests she has never once considered the possibility that they might not be welcome. And then there is Bella, the youngest, the one who arrived in the shadow of grief, and who has, by every visible account, brought a specific and irreplaceable light into a family that needed it. She is at the age of pure delight, where everything is new and funny and worth pointing at, and where the laughter she produces is the helpless, total kind that adults spend the rest of their lives trying to find their way back to. Strip away the private jets and the designer clothes and the social media following, and the fact that their father holds world records and their mother is a global television personality, and what being a Ronaldo kid actually means is something far simpler and far more universal than any of that. It means growing up in a house where you are loved with extraordinary completeness and extraordinary consistency by two adults who have decided, as their most fundamental priority, that no amount of professional ambition or public obligation will be allowed to come at the expense of the children's experience of being known, cherished, and fully seen. It means having a mother who gets on the floor and plays, a father who makes ridiculous sound effects, and a household culture where joy is the default and laughter is the language. The fame will be part of their story forever. They cannot opt out of that, and Georgina and Ronaldo have never pretended otherwise. But what will define them as adults, what will shape the people they become and the families they eventually build, is not the fame. It is the feeling of having been raised in a home where happiness was taken seriously, where every child was loved in their own specific language, and where the funniest, most human, most imperfect version of their extraordinary father was something they got to see every single day. That is the real inheritance. That is what it means to be a Ronaldo kid. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the notifications bell for more gist and stories on your favorite celebrities. Until the next one, please stay tuned.